Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, Text 28. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Pravistastu griham pitro parisvakta swamatrbhi Bhavande sirasa sapta Devaki pramukha muda Pravistastu griham pitro parisvakta swamatrbhi Bhavande sirasa sapta Devaki pramukha muda Pravistastu griham pitro parisvakta swamatrbhi Bhavande sirasa sapta Devaki pramukha muda Pravistastu griham pitro parisvakta samatribhi Bhavande sirasa sapta Devaki pramukha muda Pravistha, after entering. Two, but. Griham, houses. Pitro, of the father. Parisvakta, embraced. Swamatrabhi, by his own mothers. Bhavande, offered obeisances. Sirasa, his head. Sapta, seven. Devaki, Pramukha, headed by. Muda, gladly. Translation: after entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present. And the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Swami, Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 18 wives, out of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him, as will be evident from the following verse. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he equally offered his obeisances unto all the wives of Vasudeva present on the occasion. According to scriptures also, there are 7 mothers. 1, the real mother. 2, the wife of the spiritual master. 3, the wife of a Brahman. 4, the wife of the king. 5, the cow. 6, the nurse. And 7, the earth. All of them are mothers. Even by this injunction of the Shastras, the stepmother who is the wife of the father is also as good as the mother, because the Father is also one of the spiritual masters. Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son just to teach others how to trust, how to treat their stepmothers. Translation: after entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrijata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yakrapa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So today we are assembled to continue discussion of this chapter from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka. We begin our discussions about these most sacred subject matters with this invocation mantra, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. That we are born into the darkness of ignorance, and the spiritual master, out of his causeless mercy, using the torchlight of divine knowledge, he dispels the ignorance of our hearts, the darkness of ignorance that is prevalent in our hearts. So what is ignorance? The example that is given is that of a crystal. A crystal reflects light in its original pure form. But if we were to bring a red rose into the vicinity of the crystal, now the crystal begins to reflect red, the color of the rose. So what has happened is that the quality of the rose has become superimposed upon the pure crystal. In the same way, when the living entity, the soul, comes into contact with material nature, the qualities of this nature become superimposed upon the living entity. The energy, the Shakti that makes it possible for this superimposition to occur is called avidya, ignorance. But what is it? What is ignorance? It is this energy, but what is it? The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he explains, Ajnana Tamare Naam Kahiye Kaitava Dharma Artha Kama Moksha Vancha Adisava. The darkness of ignorance, known as cheating, is the desire for dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Mundane religiosity, economic development, fulfillment of desires, kama, and moksha, the desire for liberation. Out of these, the most formidable is kama, lust, the need to fulfill desires, material desires. But what is it? What is kama? Again, the Chaitanya Charitamrita answers, Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Boli Kam Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dhare Premna. When one desires to satisfy and gratify his own senses, that is calm, lust. But when one desires to only satisfy and please the senses of Krishna, that is prem, love. Very simple. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has made it so simple to understand. Very simple. When we desire to satisfy our own senses, that is kama. But when the desire is to only please the senses of Krishna, that is love. But then one may wonder, if I am simply engaged all my life in pleasing the senses of Krishna, how am I to desire? How am I to experience pleasure? Yes, you're always working for someone else, for his pleasure. What about me? So Srila Prabhupada gives this wonderful example from the Shastras of watering a gigantic tree. Even on our property there are many trees. My favorite tree is the one that's right behind the Gurukul building in the parking lot. If you have seen, right in front of the Gurukul building is a tall, towering tree. Now he looks a little barren because of the winter. But when you look at him in the springtime and summer, it's a magnificent tree. So many branches, leaves everywhere. It looks very beautiful. It's a beautiful tree. Now he has so many thousands of leaves, so many branches on each branch, so many leaves. Can you imagine if you had to water every single one of them? It's just not possible. By simply watering the root of that tree, such a gigantic tree, the whole tree is satisfied. So when we please Krishna, automatically our pleasure is included. We become pleased. Why? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Just as all the branches, the twigs, the leaves are all part of the same tree. And when the root is watered, the entire tree becomes satisfied and nourished. In similar way, when we engage our senses, our energy, our intelligence in pleasing the senses of Krishna, we become pleased because we are a part of Krishna. And the pleasure that we derive from pleasing Krishna is much, much superior to anything that this world has to offer. So ignorance is when we forget our eternal relationship with Krishna and engage in such activities that actually bring pain. We have seen this in this world. So many attempts to create pleasure and help people experience pleasure, but they only create more pain. Many years ago, smartphones were introduced to this world, and people were very happy because essentially a smartphone can do practically everything your computer does. But you can hold it in the palm of your hand. It's such a powerful device, it can do everything your computer can, and some things that even your computer cannot do. People were thrilled. What an invention. Because we thought this is going to make life so much simpler. And now people are finding out. Because they're constantly looking down like this. Pain in the neck, problems with the vertebra, eyes. And now this new generation, the kids, they are so addicted to cell phones. You can take away their candy from them, their favorite food, doesn't bother them. You take away their smartphones, and all hell breaks loose.
Me too.
Count me into. We have become so dependent on it, and it simply creates more problems. So in the Pujari room, there is a little calendar, and every day there's a quote by Srila Prabhupada, either from a letter that he wrote to some disciple, or a class that he gave, or something that he wrote in a book. There are so many wonderful quotes in there. And last year I remember I read something about astrology. Prabhupada is saying something about astrology. So I was a little curious. So I went back, flipped through the pages and found that quote yesterday. It's from March 14th. And the reason I was interested in that is because a very dear friend of mine, he's going through some problems in life. He's going through a divorce, very messy divorce. So he has been taking shelter of astrology because he wants to know what's coming next and what to do about it. So I was hoping to offer some advice to him. So I remembered reading this thing about astrology. So I found it yesterday, flipping through the pages, I found it was on March 14th. And Srila Prabhupada says in that, astrology is for fools and rascals. Now, how am I going to tell my friend this? Srila Prabhupada says, no sane man ever takes interest in astrology. Because what is to happen will happen. Nobody can change that. Because it is, we enjoy or suffer according to activities performed in previous lifetimes. It has already happened. We are now just experiencing the fruits of those actions. It will come one way or other. There is no way to change that. So what does an intelligent man do? There is a nice saying in Bengali. Mare Krishna rake Krishna mare ke. If Krishna wants to kill you, who can protect you? And if Krishna wants to protect you, who can kill you? So, our responsibility is not to expend efforts in finding what is in store for us. That is going to happen. Whatever is in store is coming. It will happen one way or another. Our responsibility is to take shelter of Kunja Bihari. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami mascha. He offers us this promise. Just abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. So the Lord makes this promise to us. If we simply repose our faith and our love and trust in Him, He offers complete protection. And out of ignorance, people take shelter of so many different things. Astrology and rituals. This friend that I am speaking about, he was not very familiar with the intricacies of astrology. But now, because of all the problems he's been going through, he has been spending so much time consulting astrologers and looking into his birth charts, that now when he calls me, he gives me so many details. The sun is in this quadrant and the moon is here. And he asked me one time, what is your date of birth? Give me your time of birth. Now, it's a very dear high school friend. So I told him I was born here on this date, this time. And then right away on the spot he was saying, all right, your Saturn is in this quadrant. He was going on for about 10 or 15 minutes about all this. And saying, yeah, now some bad times are coming upon you. Then he said, you just went through a period of good time. Now for the next few years, there's some troublesome times coming your way.
Of course.
And what happens after that, I asked him. I said, and then there'll be good times. I said, this I could have told you without even reading my chart. Everyone's life is like that. We go through ups and downs sometimes, joyous times, sometimes difficult times. Krishna stated in the Bhagavad Gita such a simple way to deal with it. Just consider that happiness and distress are like summer and winter seasons. They come and go. So telling somebody some bad time is coming and then you'll have a good time is like telling someone summer is coming and followed that will be winter and then summer again. We all know that. This is the nature of everybody's lives. Good times, bad times. Why do you need astrology to tell you that? This is simple logic. Everybody knows that from personal experience. So this is not the solution. The solution is to understand that we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna, and that is the source of all suffering. When we engage our intelligence and our energy into reviving and remembering that relationship, then we can become permanently happy. And that is a sustainable solution for all problems in this world. One other quote I read recently, Srila Prabhupada, such a brilliant presentation, such a brilliant acharya, the way he explained things. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of a bird that's been trained to live in the cage. And that we have seen, there are videos on YouTube, you can see it for yourself. The man releases the bird out into a large ground, and the bird flies around for some time, and after flying around for some time, it returns right back to the cage. The whole world was available for him. He could have simply flown to any place and been free for the rest of his life. But after flying around different parts, he comes right back into the cage. Srila Prabhupada says, life in the human body, in the conditioned state, is like that bird. Only in the human form of life do we have this facility, this opportunity to find eternal freedom from birth, old age, disease, and death. And yet, a large, an overwhelmingly large percentage of the world's population is simply engaged in activities that will bring them back again and again into different material bodies, just like that bird who seeks shelter in the cage. Much of the world's population is simply engaged in activities that will keep them encaged in these material bodies. So we must understand that the purpose of human life is to find eternal freedom by surrendering to Krishna. Then we can transcend old age, disease, birth and death, this repeated cycle. There is a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 13, and the translation that Prabhupada has given is fascinating. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. So Srila Prabhupada translates this as Krishna is telling Arjuna what really is knowledge. And it's a series of about 5 verses where Krishna covers many things. And he tells Arjuna that all of these I consider knowledge, and everything else besides this I consider ignorance. And one of the things, it was really fascinating, I was reading this very recently. Srila Prabhupada translates that as one of the things that comprise knowledge is the perception of the evil of birth, old age, disease and death. This is incredible. Before I came in contact with devotees in ISKCON, I read a few different versions of Bhagavad Gita. Nobody ever translated it in this way. The perception of the evil of birth, old age, disease and death. This is knowledge. Srila Prabhupada terms birth, old age, disease and death as an evil. Incredible. Why does he do that? Because these experiences, to take birth repeatedly, to suffer from material diseases, to age and to die, is an alien experience to the soul. The soul is Satchit Ananda Vigraha. It's eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. And yet it is being subjected to an experience that is the complete opposite. The experience of ignorance and temporary nature of bodies and suffering. These are not experiences that are natural to the soul. It is an alien experience. So when we go through one body to another, from one species of life to another, through these material bodies, we're actually subjecting ourselves to an experience that is very contrary to our nature. So Srila Prabhupada uses this word, evil. The perception of the evil of birth, old age, disease and death. So the Lord, out of His kindness, out of His causeless mercy and unlimited kindness, He descends into this world in so many different forms. His avatars, His incarnations, to attract us back to His world. And we see it in the pages of Shrimadbhagavatam, all of these different incarnations, they actually have a subservient nature towards the fountainhead of all incarnations, Sri Krishna. So they have this mood of dasya, servant, towards the fountainhead of all incarnations, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Now how do we know that? Siddhanti Maharaj, I was hearing the other day, he quoted a verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanyara Das Mui, Chaitanyara Das. Chaitanyara Das Mui, Tarap Dasera Das. This verse was spoken by Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu himself, the personality of Godhead. He said, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya and the servant of his servants. So Lord Mahavishnu, the form of Advaita Acharya, he is declaring, I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya. And the Bhagavatam explains how Lord Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. All incarnations emanate from him. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. In the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the original primeval person. And I worship that Lord Govinda. So from Krishna emanates everything. Aham sarvasya prabho vatha sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. The Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. And the wise who know this perfectly engage in my service with all their hearts. So in this particular chapter, as we read Lord Krishna's entering into Dwaraka, he's filling the hearts of all his associates and devotees with unlimited joy. Such beautiful descriptions. And this particular verse is very important because in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about 7 mothers. The real mother, the biological mother, who he calls the real mother, the wife of the spiritual master, the wife of a Brahman, the wife of the king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. This is very important because in the world today, there is so much violence. And there's a saying in America, what goes around comes around. One of the 7 mothers listed here is the cow. And another one, the earth. Both of whom are being exploited by the residents of this planet for their own pleasure. So many thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of cows are slaughtered every year simply for their meat. So people can enjoy the taste of the flesh of mother cow, which is very sinful. And the earth, exploiting the resources of earth for one's own pleasure. We discussed in Shrimadbhagavatam a few weeks ago, where Mother Earth, what we give to her, she returns back to us. So when people complain about the pollution in the air and the forests and the water, who created that pollution? We created it. Because we have set up so many factories for our pleasure. We need new cell phones every other year. Actually, I used to use the Samsung Galaxy phone. Then I shifted out to Motorola for just a few years. When I came back, I couldn't believe it. I had been using S7 or something like that. And I said, okay, what's the latest model? Is it like S10? And somebody said, no, it's S17. And now it's S26. And in just a few years. So all these models have been advancing so quickly. I was gone for just a few years to another different manufacturer. When I came back, they had already skipped so many versions. They had already made so many newer versions. So all these factories mass producing objects for our gratification. So when we pour all those pollutants into the earth, Mother Earth returns that back to us in the form of polluted air, polluted water. And when people set up slaughterhouses simply for the purpose of killing animals for the pleasure of tasting their flesh, what goes around comes around. You'll be surprised if you've been following this. Maybe you won't be as surprised, but last few years, even 25 years ago, I didn't read so many reports of this happening, but now it's such a regular occurrence. Parents killing their own children. It's happening at a very alarming pace. Very regular. Just the other day I was reading about somebody who left his child in a hot car and said he forgot the child. Can you imagine? We don't even like forgetting our cell phones in a hot car. Someone claims he forgot his own child. Just a way to get rid of the child. Mothers killing their children in their rooms. So this is happening more and more. Why? Because when what goes around comes around. When we kill mother cow, people go crazy and then they start killing their own children. So the Shrimadbhagavatam is giving us a solution to all these problems. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Bandhuratmatmanastasya enatmaivatmanachita anatmanastu shatrupe vartetatmaiva shatruvat. That one must learn to make the mind a friend. For one who does that, one who controls the mind becomes his best of friends. But for one who fails to do that, the mind remains his greatest enemy. And in ignorance, people engage in so many sinful activities that simply brings upon ruin and destruction in the form of wars, all the violence that is committed against the animals, all the violence against fellow human beings now manifests in the form of wars. There's just wars everywhere. Russia is fighting Ukraine. In Iran, there's some massive demonstrations and hundreds of people have been killed by the regime. So this is happening all over the world because people have forgotten the real purpose of human life. We are among the very fortunate ones because not only do we understand the purpose of human life, but we are here assembled, reading and discussing Shrimadbhagavatam. What a great fortune this is. The Shrimadbhagavatam has solutions to all problems. We must simply serve Shrimadbhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. We must simply engage in serving Shrimadbhagavatam regularly by reading, hearing, and discussing. Siddhanti Maharaj was just saying in the other lecture, now things have become so simple, he was explaining in a lecture. Whatever facilities we have, we can use that for the right purpose. There are smartphones, but just like a knife can be a good thing or a bad thing. Yes, in the hands of a murderer, it's used to take lives, but in the hands of an expert surgeon, a doctor, it's used to save lives. Likewise, smartphones can be destructive devices, but also in the right hands can be such a wonderful tool. Maharaj was explaining, you just have to click a few clicks, that's all it takes. And you can be hearing Shrimadbhagavatam in the language of your choice, or a speaker of your choice, or a subject matter. You can actually search Shrimadbhagavatam, whatever subject, and there will be so many people who have spoken about it. And you just click and hear. What a wonderful benediction. So any tool used in the right purpose can be utilized for spiritual advancement. Yukta Vairagya. Srila Rupa Goswami has spoken about this principle of Yukta Vairagya. Vairagya means to give up. So Gauranga Prabhu, in a lecture, he was explaining this. In India, those who are from India and those who haven't, but hopefully someday, if you go there, you'll see, especially in holy places, on bridge, on a bridge, there are usually beggars on both sides. So people walk, there's a lot of foot traffic in the holy places, so people walk, so it's an opportunity for beggars to beg. So two beggars in some holy place, they were sitting near a bridge and discussing. And one beggar said to another, I got my daughter married. So the second beggar said, oh, you got your daughter married? He was astonished because, like him, the other man was a beggar, but yet he managed to get his daughter married. So he asked, what does your son-in-law do? So this first beggar said, he is also a beggar. And then this beggar said, I even managed to give dowry. Now this was really astonishing to the second person. I was thinking, this man is a beggar. He managed to get his daughter married. He's also given a dowry. So he asked, what did you give in dowry? So this first beggar, he pointed to that bridge that they were sitting near. And he said, that entire bridge I gave to my son-in-law's dowry. So the second man asked, what do you mean you gave him the entire bridge? So the first beggar, he said, I told my new son-in-law, he can sit anywhere on that bridge and beg. So in India, like land mafia, you can't simply, if you decided to beg, you can't simply choose any spot and beg. Because they have all their areas marked out. You can't just sit anywhere there. So you have to have permission, or you have to go someplace that's not already been marked out and then beg. Turf wars. So this first beggar, he said, the entire bridge I've given to my son-in-law, he's free to sit anywhere and beg. Now, like that beggar, if we think we have anything that we can give up, we are no better than that beggar. Because just as that bridge was never his to give away, what is ours to give up? Isavasyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to the personality of God, and nothing belongs to me. And if nothing belongs to me, how can I give it up? So Srila Rupa Goswami has brilliantly explained the concept of Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means to understand everything in relation to the personality of Godhead and use it for that purpose. To serve Krishna, to please Krishna. So all these destructive devices, they can also be used in such positive ways to make spiritual advancement. Cell phones, or computers, or vehicles, by using them to engage ourselves in the service of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, we can make rapid advancement. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions or comments?
You know, I do. I watch way too much Facebook, but one of the things that I quit watching was this guy. He's in his mid-30s at best. He's in Alaska and Canada, and he's gold mining. And they go into these gorgeous countrysides and just plow everything down to the dirt and take all the dirt and reroute the river so that it will go through their sluices. And so he just goes from spot to spot to spot, picking up millions of dollars in gold off of these properties. And as soon as he gets all the gold out of that piece of land, he's up and in another spot. Never reclaiming any of it, never fixing it, never fixing the waterways back. He just comes in with his team and his machinery, and there's like 8 of them involved. and he'll walk out of there with $1.5 million in gold. And just pack up his machinery, move it 150 yards over, set it back down, tear up all that. So they pick up all this dirt out of the river basin and dump it through this machine that separates the dirt from the gold. And it just devastates the land. And where he's doing it, there are no reclaiming acts. Because I was raised in the South where there's open mining, open coal mining. So like they would just come in and dig everything down to that level and start dynamiting everything and just digging out all the coal. Well, in the early days of that, when the coal mine finished, they just walked off and left it. And it would pollute the streams and the water because all the topsoil now is 50 feet below. And all the stuff that was 50 feet below is now topsoil. So it won't grow anything. But people all around in that area, everybody would have their own coal mine, and it would just wreak havoc. When we moved out into the country, we weren't on city water, we had a well. Our neighbors started mining their coal, our well went dry.
Was it right?
Yeah. We had to drill, that was a 35-foot well that was 100 years old that had continuously 20 feet of water in it. And it was my great-grandfather's. And when they started mining, it went dry. And so we had to drill a 1,500-foot deep well to supply our house because the iron, when they started mining, they got all the iron in all the water tables. And so we had to drill past all that to get back down to good water again. Because the mining had just wrecked the water table. Yeah. So that you'll get sulfur water, you'll get iron water, and it's just greed. It's after the gold. It's after that black diamond, the coal. Back in the day, yeah, coal fired everything. As a matter of fact, my great-grandfather on his land that was eventually mined, when he lived there, him and his son mined coal off the top of the ground. Yes, and took it to town and sold it. And also, let me tell you this a little bit, he was a moonshiner.
What is that?
He made illegal whiskey. Yeah, had a still out in the country. And the revenuers, the federal police that control alcohol and tobacco and that, came in, raided his still, and he ran off through the woods and they shot him in the back of the ankle. And he died at 89 with that bullet still in his ankle.
Oh.
He was a tough old coot. He had 12 kids by 2 wives, and they both died because he worked them to death. But yeah, it's just all this greed that is brewing all of this devastation, all this havoc to our planet. The water tables are, Amsterdam is going to be underwater. In Venice, yeah, with the ice caps, the water's rising so fast that Amsterdam is having problems now with their dikes. Yeah, and it's all this global warming and these ice caps melting and everything are having some real devastating effects. And it's going to just keep getting worse. It's par for the course for Kali. It's just destruction, greed.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised by how quickly it's progressing. Because Kali Yuga is what's going to last about 432,000
years. It just started and it's this crazy. I don't want to be here anymore. Check me out of here, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired of this game, I'm telling you. I'm 61 and I'm tired of this game. I really am. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing people. I'm tired. All my friends were drug addicts and they're all dead. Yeah, they're all dead because of their lifestyle. 51, 53, 60. My friend that just passed a year and a half ago, his grandfather died at 89, his mother died at 94, and he died at 60. Yeah, if it hadn't been for drugs, he would have had 25 years left. Easy. I'll be lucky if I get 5. The way I've abused my body? I mean, yeah. I abused my body in college, that's for sure. It's so much LSD in college. So much.
You're in the right place now.
Yeah.
Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matpara ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanti upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagara bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Krishna tells Arjuna that for those who have taken shelter of him, he is the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. It's a very swift process. So Krishna consciousness is so powerful.
Yeah.
The results come very quickly. So Srila Prabhupada translates, his translations are so beautiful. He says, Krishna says, I am the swift, not just deliverer, the swift deliverer, very quickly from the ocean of birth and death.
Well, and I've been thinking about that, abandon all religions and just surrender unto me. Because like for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been going to the Unitarian Church in the mornings and then coming here in the afternoon. But I can't bring myself to go anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just so pretentious. It is so pretentious. I've been going there almost 4 years and 3 people know my name.
4 years?
Yes, and 3 people know my name and actually speak to me out of 100 in the congregation. So I was just like, nah, I'm just saving my gas and my time. I'd rather read Bhagavatam than listen to them discuss whether or not they want to say the G word or the J word, meaning God or Jesus, because God forbid we should take a stand. You know?
But I've seen that we've been coming so regularly to Shrimadbhagavatam. It shows your respect and love for Shrimadbhagavatam.
I love it.
This is
It's just
very nice.
More beautiful at every turn. Just more beautiful at every turn.
It's very nice, especially when it's, I don't know, 20 degrees outside. I don't know how cold. I think it's not that bad this morning, but previous few weekends have been very cold. Even through all that, you drive from your home coming here. This is very wonderful and inspiring to see. Thank you for
Thanks for
inspiring all of us by your actions. So now the reward for having heard Shrimadbhagavatam is Krishna Prasadam awaits. Please enjoy nice prasadam. Grantaraj Shrimadbhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you for class, folks.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.